guys? What is going on? How we doing today? How's everyone's Saturday going? Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Hope you're having a good 3-day weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, baby. That's right. I'm doing good, Olayinka. Sorry if I completely butchered that. What's up, Bryce? Gene Hikari is 100% goated, that's for sure. A booty, what's going on? Trying to figure things out here because I think we're a little bit delayed. Is the music too loud? My mic might be a little low. It's possible. I'm still figuring this shit out. So let me know. Tell me what the audio's doing. If the music is too loud. If I'm too loud. You gotta let me know. Yeah, I completely apologize. I did my best. Tell me if I'm too now. Tell me if I'm too loud now. I raised the volume a little bit. Guys, I don't know if you notice. Hold on, let me move the webcam down. I got my nice little Gojo shirt on right now. Limitless. Guys, so let's talk about 186, man. I was not staying up until 4 o'clock in the morning to do a chapter review. That just wasn't happening. I'm sorry. But I figured I got a nice sleep. I rested myself, and I feel a little bit better today. So I was like, you know what? Let's just have a live stream really quickly. Let's talk about everything, and let's get everything situated. Because this chapter was absolutely way too crazy to not talk about. It's so I'm gonna cover this in analysis. So I'm not gonna do any chapter reviews of this fight, but trust me, like I'm gonna go all out for this because I'm absolutely loving Hikari so far. I love his character and I love his technique, and just the kind of things that we've seen so far in this chapter, like the way that Gege writes characters is just immaculate. Like every character has their own little personality and their own just like the fact that Hikari literally just shows up and there's like an anime OST just playing in the background. Like I imagine it's like that meme where it's like why do I hear boss music? You know, Kashimo's just took out Panda and is just like on top of his game. He's not ready for anything to walk up on him, and then all of a sudden he just starts hearing boss music, which is probably just like imagine the most anime song you've heard, like anime opening, probably playing in the background, just slowly getting louder and louder. Yo, Stack, but Jogo is still mid. Absolutely not. We do not endorse that kind of talk here. Jogo is one of the best characters in the show, and I'll die on that hill. I will literally have a 3-hour debate and tell you every single reason why he is the best. And the entire 3-hour debate will just be me talking and you listening. All right, so let's talk about this fucking chapter here, guys. What I'm gonna do here is I have this one panel. I don't want to get copyright striked for like showing the entire chapter. So what I'm gonna do is I have a couple panels here. I have the chapter pulled up on another screen, and I'm just going to save the images that I want to talk about and then just change the image that's on the screen. I figure that's the best way to do it. a booty. Hikari is goated. Him and Kirara would be an unstoppable duo. Yo, Kirara, I thought was really cool. I like her technique. It's very complicated, but it makes things very hard to fight against. Like, Megami doesn't get enough credit for being able to figure that out and turn that into a winning situation for him. Like, most people, imagine on a dime if Kirara really was trying to kill you, right? And she just overall started doing all of her different stars and layers, and she just wanted to take as least amount of time as possible to end you. That'd be it. By the time you figured everything out and figured to get to the second star, she would have already murked your ass. So I think maybe she was probably taking it easy on Panda and Megami because they were Jujutsu students. It's not necessarily that she had a problem with them. I think it was more or less like she just had to defend Hikari. She thought they were going against her. I'm trying to stay up with chat here. Hikari over Mei. The chat is wilding right now. Absolutely not. That would be a pretty good matchup because Mei's pretty goated as well, to be completely honest with you. She's got some pretty crazy hamsy. Mei doesn't stand a chance. Don't underestimate Mei. Yo, she has trained her body to the point where her physical stats are at the maximum. When it comes down to overall hand-to-hand and close quarters combat, Mei can really take on most people in the series without a problem. She's got the speed for it. She's got the power for it. I mean, when she fought the Smallpox Curse, she literally was quick enough to cut that motherfucker's hands off before he even noticed, in the middle of his domain. He was in his domain. But I do think Hikari is over Mei, in my honest opinion. Broken Ronin said Mei is feetless. That's pretty crazy. I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. Mei would have lost to the Smallpox had it not been for her brother, though. That's the case, but you have to imagine the way that Jujutsu Kaisen really is. Have you ever seen fighting game characters where they have a duo as one character? I would kind of consider Mei like that, like Ui. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Kwangzi, thanks for the subscription. Appreciate you, brother. If you consider Ui an extension of Mei's power, which the way that Jujutsu Kaisen is, honestly, it may be, and the kind of weird relationship that they have, what if Mei literally created Ui? Now, this is just headcanon. I'm talking out of my ass here. Please don't quote me on this. But either way, I would consider Ui to be part of her arsenal. That's why she keeps him with her always, right? That's why even as like a grade probably 4 or lower sorcerer, really his only feats were to stand on the sidelines and be there to cast simple domain and be a scapegoat. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm giving way too much credit for to Mei here. I literally just read so much and did so much research for Mei recently on for a video that I'm doing in the next couple weeks. So maybe I'm a little biased in that one. What up, the fake weeb? What is going on, brother? Fake Weeb's one of the best Jujutsu Kaisen content creators out there. He's the GOAT. I didn't do my chapter review, so make sure you check out his. Kid's always on it. He's the first person to put out a chapter review every week. I swear to God. You gotta love that dedication. That's no joke. Enemy stand user, that's another one. There we go. You can check out his chapter reviews. My guy does a really good job as well. He puts it out on the dot as well. I'm pretty sure I saw him already coming out with it yesterday. God bless. I have not talked about this chapter whatsoever, but we're having good conversation, right? We'll get into it. Vid, Megami vs. Reggie was the best fight in the Culling games. Honestly, when that fight first started, it was really underrated, and I really didn't give it as much thought as I should have. And I apologize about that. I feel really bad because once Megami creates his domain, you really look back and you're like, damn, this fight really was choreographed really well, right? Like, even before they started with the domain, the fact that Megami was on the run and Reggie was giving chase, there was even a moment, it was right after Spider-Man No Way Home came out. Reggie pulled out the Spider-Man web sling. I was like, yo, Gege definitely watched this movie, like, right before this, I swear to God. Do you think infinite cursed energy is the only reward Hikari can get, or he has others, the fake weeb? I 100% think he has others, but I'm a very optimistic power scaler. I mean that in a sense that I'm willing to think outside of the box for people, like, because you really think about it, you really only see people in certain situations in the fights that we see, but technically their powers are capable of more if in certain other situations. I think Hikari's domain expansion has a different choice of pachinko machines. I think he can choose which pachinko machine that he wants to replicate, and I also think that the stat boost that he gets will always be different. As if like it was gambling, because that would make sense, don't you think? Why would he get the same bonus every single time? When you're gambling, you can get different rewards and different things that happen. So, I mean, if he just has the one boost, I wouldn't be upset. But I think he has a lot of potential to constantly change it up, which makes him even more deadly. Yeah, I'm surprised Hikari isn't deemed special grade with his domain expansion. There must be a reason for that. He must have some kind of limitation that we haven't seen yet. Tristan McFarley 3 100%. I feel that statement that you just made. It's already been debunked because confirmed Ui and Mei are biological siblings, but I still hold to my analogy of the duo, like the duo of a fighting game where certain characters are tied together in one fighting slot because their fighting style is literally entwined. I give Mei that boost. I hope Pure Love Train is cool, but I'm trying to see some other themed pachinkos. Facts. I 100% think Hikari can pull out a bunch of different themed pachinkos. It just makes sense. Or the higher-ups just don't respect him enough to give him special grade. That's possible. But I don't think it works like that because realistically, if you think about it, they don't really like any of the special grades that they've given the title to. They don't like Gojo. They don't like I mean, they may have liked Geto when he was actually a student. He seemed like he was pretty consistent, right, in his ideals before he had that mental breakdown. But Yuki doesn't do shit for the school. Why have they only revealed Hikari's domain expansion but not a specific curse technique? I feel like it's like Higuruma in a sense, where his curse technique is pretty much his domain. Um, and what I mean by that is it's kind of almost like, have you guys seen Bleach? Have anyone seen Bleach? I'm not gonna spoil Bleach if I make this analogy, right? Tell me right now if I'm gonna spoil people on Bleach if I make this analogy that I'm about to make. I've seen 4 people say it's okay, and I've seen 1 person say it hasn't read it. Either way, so I'm going to talk about it in a vague way that the people who have read it know what I'm talking about. So there's a character, he's a main villain, and his sword's technique, even though he doesn't have the ultimate leveled ability, his bottom ability is essentially is strong enough. He doesn't need the second layer of the ability, right? It basically is both at the same time. That's what I think Hikari's curse technique and Higuruma's curse technique may be, where even though they go right to domain expansion and skip the curse technique part, it's they're intertwined, so they don't need separate versions. It's the same thing. The people that have, yeah, exactly, a booty gets it, yeah, exactly. The people that have read Bleach know what I'm talking about, where there's no need to differentiate between the two because the overall power and the point of the technique encompasses both his domain and his curse technique. They're the same thing. The fake Weebio, I just realized you got a goated shirt on. A Fandomaniacs sponsor, brothers. Let's go. Is it confirmed who has the back of the prison realm? Because if Megami has and he is with Angel, it could have some interesting implications. Germ C, that's a really good point. That's actually something that I don't think anyone's really thought of. Who has the back of Prison Realm currently? Is it still with Tengen? Is there a point to go and bring everything back to him? Maybe. You don't think Higuruma and Hikari will ever just use their curse technique? It doesn't seem like it. Both of them were both pretty domain and trigger happy. Don't see how Nanami beats Todo, to be honest. I'd have to think about that. Don't get me started on that. Cam did more wins part 2 of What If Geto 1. I literally have it made. Um, I have it written. I have it recorded for the most part. I just have not. I just haven't put it out because the first one didn't do that well, to be honest with you. I know a lot of you guys loved it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate every single one of you guys that loved it. I know you guys that did really appreciated it, but it didn't do well enough to justify putting the second one out. It's starting to gain traction again. If it hits 700 likes, that's what I put in the community post. If it hits 700 likes, I'll make the part 2 and I'll upload it. Oh, Magarwal, thank you for subscribing. You're the GOAT. All right, let's move on here. Let's get this next panel bumping. All right, so let's talk about this absolute crazy scenario that there is background music to Hikari's beatdown 24/7 while he has this boost. Can we just literally discuss that right now? How there is literally, I'm imagining, have you guys ever seen the SpongeBob anime? Hold on. Have you guys ever seen the SpongeBob anime meme? Give me 1 second here. I'm derailing the entire stream for a meme here, but I really don't care. Am I gonna get copyright striked for this? I might. Nah, no way. No way, right? Absolutely not. Hold on. I'm making a joke, and it's taking me a lot longer than it needs to. Oh my god. It's so big. Look. Like this. Like, this is what I imagine is playing in the background. Is while Hikari is beating the shit out of, Kashimo. This is what I picture it playing while Hikari is beating the shit out of him. Alright, that's enough. I will get copyright striked if I show way too much of that. No, stop. Guys, the music isn't stopping. What do I do? Oh, I still have it playing in the pop-out player. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I'm an inexperienced streamer. I'm freaking awful. Okay, we got that. We got that figured out, right? Okay, we're good. There's nothing playing anymore. So, that is absolutely insane that, like, while he's just beating the shit out of him, there's because I think, what does it say, right on the panel? It says that Pure Love Train's OST is actually generally playing in the background. I wonder if that's a real song. Yeah, Cortez Santana. Like, do I hear boss music? That's exactly how I picture it. A booty. I tried searching for it. I didn't find anything. There you go. Okay, that answers that. I thought he was referencing a real anime because of the way that Charles got upset when he, like, was saying he was defiling it. Maybe it's not real. I wish we could get a Hikari separate arc like Akotsu. Isn't that literally what we're getting? I mean, yeah, it happened pretty quickly. He got to Kashimo pretty quickly, but there's no way that Kashimo's gonna end here. They're gonna end in either a tie. I don't think Hikari will get killed, but I don't think this is gonna be the end of Kashimo. I think we're gonna see more of that. Hold on, let me get this background music playing again. Tell me if it is tell me if it's too loud when it comes back on. Oh, huh. Is the music playing through air or what? Because there is no speakers on him. I think it just, like, I think that's just the technique. Enemy stand user. Hikari needs no context. He's just a Chad. I was literally talking with, this artist I've been working with recently. I've been talking with him, Boku no Colors. He's the one that made the overlay that I have on the chat, and I'm gonna use a lot of his art for some of the thumbnails in the future. So definitely check him out on Twitter. I think I have his Twitter in the description. I should have put it there. Definitely check him out. He makes really good work. I was talking with him about it. And I said it doesn't even matter. We don't need an explanation because I think it's funnier if we don't get an explanation. So, after all of this music, another thing that we do get from the chapter here is that Hikari's actually, it seems like when he's powered up with his boost, the flow of cursed energy is absolutely so strong for him that he's actually able to completely ignore Hajime's cursed energy property. You can see the electricity literally like circulating around his hand here, and he says feels a little numb, huh? Like the fact that he has so much energy coursing through him. Not only do we see later in the chapter that his arm is literally able to be bolted off and then immediately regenerated. We've only seen one other person do that, and that's Sukuna. Remember that. We've seen cursed spirits do this. We've seen cursed spirits regenerate limbs. Mahito can do it. It's not a surprise when a cursed spirit does that because they're not a real human being, right? But what makes it so surprising that Sukuna is able to do it is that he does it in Yuji's body. He's not a cursed spirit. He's literally a vessel, right? He literally takes Yuji's hand and immediately forms an entire new hand with reverse curse technique. This is high level kind of reverse curse technique. Even Shoko, one of the strongest reverse curse technique users in the entire series, at least in the modern age, wasn't able to do the same kind of thing that he's able to do. Yuta has great reverse curse technique skills. He's not able to regenerate a limb, probably. The music follows wherever Hikari goes, just like that Summertime Lovin' weirdo from Regular Show. You got it. Checks out. Here's another thing that most people don't seem to mention. Druve is almost 2,000 years old, implying that Kenjaku is at least that old, if not older. And the one thing that a lot of people don't talk about because of the mistranslations of, don't get me started on Viz and the fan translations, I swear, don't get me started. But one thing a lot of people don't understand is that that was actually his second incarnation. He's been reincarnated twice. That wasn't his second incarnation saying that this was his second time living. He has been this is his second time being reincarnated. Do I think Shoko could have healed Todo's arm? It's yet to be seen. I'll take my statement back if she does. Do you think that Hikari will keep his new arm after the fight? Jackpot. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna fade away. Do you think there could be there other characters who manipulate the shape of their cursed energy like Hikari? Yeah, we've seen it with Hajime, and quite honestly, the way that I see it is Yuji is also one of the people that can do this with Divergent Fist. It may not be a property like Hikari and Hajime use it, but it's true mastery of cursed energy, in my opinion, of someone that can control the flow of their cursed energy in a way that's not natural. Todo has pure mastery and is able to teach Yuji the same thing, right? Of having, not thinking you're channeling it through limbs, you're channeling it through your entire body. You are your cursed energy. That's a level of expert, right? Is being able to do that and properly manipulate your cursed energy. But it takes someone who's able to uniquely mold that manipulation and add another layer on top of that. Not who can do that. It's something new that we've overall seen. I mean, Divergent Fist came in the early parts of the series, but we didn't know what it was. At that point, we thought it was because of Yuji had bad habits of manipulation. That's what Todo explained it as, right? But we know that Gojo trained Hikari. And if Gojo trained Hikari, that means that Gojo knows that Hikari is able to use his cursed energy in that way. And people probably thought he was weird for having that kind of cursed energy too. But that also explains why Gojo, when seeing Divergent Fist, tells Yuji that he can use this to his advantage, where Todo tells him he needs to work on it because it's a bad habit. It shows the masters of cursed energy to the experts. That's in my opinion. Virgil Hawkins, so you're saying that Kenjaku's from 1,000 years ago and he made a pact with Druve after his first incarnation already happened? Not necessarily. He could have been reincarnated any other way. I just think it's something to note, because Druve, I don't think, is an interesting character whatsoever. I think that this just shows like how persistent he was and how strong he was supposed to be. If he does have anything to do with Kenjaku, his first incarnation, that would be interesting. Maybe this isn't the first culling game. But we have yet to see that. I actually think that's how Yuji's level up. Yuji will level up this arc. He's going to copy Akari's Jagged Aura with Black Flash. Maybe Yuji needs more than physical upgrades. He has had enough of that. What he needs is he needs to start being able to use Sukuna's curse technique, or he's going to start getting bodied real fucking quick. He got lucky Higuruma had a change of heart. If he got put up against Reggie, Yuji might have won against Reggie. I would have to think about that more. I don't want to make a wild statement like saying that he would have died against Reggie without thinking about that more. But you get my point. Yuji is not at the level he needs to be at right now for the Culling game. Didn't Maki lose her leg fighting Geto and didn't Yuta heal her right back up? I don't know. That I haven't seen that. How sad it would be if Yuta was sent to execute Maki after the higher-ups find out she wiped out the Zenin clan. Why would he do that? Divergent Fist low-key was the reason Yuji finally beat Mahito. He finally learned how to use Divergent Fist correctly. Hell yeah. He needs to believe that he deserves to live again. I think he's conquered that at this point, right? I think... Maybe I'm wrong, but I think his awakening and realizing that he was a cog in the system was him realizing that he needs to continue living because he needs to continue the strife of exercising curses. He needs to help his friends. He can't give up and he can't be selfish and feeling like he caused all of these things. Maybe I'm incorrect because he does go back to that afterwards. Maybe he needs a new... I see what you're saying now, where maybe he needs to gain a new drive other than just being a cog. Maybe he needs to get some self-actualization, and that actually makes sense because we know that sorcerers need uniqueness and selfish desires to grow. So perhaps Yuji needs to stop thinking of himself as a cog, because even though that got him to conquer Mahito, that won't get him to conquer other sorcerers. He needs to grow from that. You're correct, actually, Phoenix with some flair. Now that I've talked it out a little bit, I agree with you. Virgil, Yuji isn't underpowered at all. He's just not as strong as Yuta, Maki, or Hakari. I don't think Yuji's underpowered. I just don't think I don't think he's ready to handle the threats that are in the Culling game. The Culling game has people like Hajime. You really think he stands a chance against Hajime? He would get 1 to 2 lightning bolts, and then Sukuna would have to come out and save him. Do you think Yuji being Sukuna's vessel in the Brain Sun may be based on a dark version of the Holy Trinity or the Antichrist? That's a pretty cool idea. I don't know if there's anything to back that up, but I would support that if there was any evidence. I think that's a cool literary analogy. Do you think Sukuna will use his binding vow he made at the start in the Culling games? That is something that will play a part at the very end of the series, I'm telling you. Because it's really only for him to take control of Yuji's body for 1 minute. What does he need to take control of Yuji's body for 1 minute? It has to do with something with Megami. Sukuna's plotting something. He's plotting something with Urame. And depending on... I'm not going to talk about this because this is a part of the theory video that I'm making for next week. So I'm not going to talk about this right now. Just know that you will get content on this later. All right. So this panel right here, I actually really like. This is probably my favorite panel in the chapter. Look how excited Hajime looks. You, what's your name? He's like, finally a challenge. And then he introduces himself. My name's Kashimo Hajime, and Hikari realizes that this is him, and what can only be described as an orgasm face, in my opinion, is what we're blessed with by Hikari. Am I gonna get demonetized for showing this fucking panel? It's like, it's insane, right? I'm gonna get... I'm taking this off the screen. But it's crazy, like... like, the fact that the cursed energy boost feels like literally absolute euphoria to Hikari is just showing that it truly is a stat boost, and like he's just overwhelmed with cursed energy. It also explains why his reverse curse technique works instinctually without him actually even knowing the technique, because the amount of cursed energy, it has nowhere to go. So when there's an open limb and a wound, the cursed energy just immediately fills that void and creates the arm again. Dr. Danger, will the new domain have a different game? I think that would be really cool if it did. I would hate to see... not that I'd be upset if Pure Love Train would be back. I think it'd be really cooler if he just changed it every time. Excuse me. Do you think we'll see something like a new maximum technique soon? I mean... maximum techniques are interesting. We really... because we've also seen people like Esso do maximum techniques, right? With maximum, what is it, Wasp or Wing King, whatever it's called. Maximum techniques don't really have to be all that powerful. They don't really have to represent something that crazy. Or perhaps they're just the maximum, the final version of the curse technique. Maybe that is what maximum techniques could be considered. You have your domain expansion, and then you also have your maximum, which is your full-on version, the fullest form of your curse technique. Are Ryu and Euro special grades because I don't think they showed enough feats? Not at all. Proof you can get high off cursed energy? Hell yeah, enemy stand user. I feel that one. Will Kenjaku be the big bad of this arc? He may be. It's probably... you know what's crazy is, like... what if we get a Naruto ending where, like, Kenjaku's about to end everything and win, and then Sukuna binding vow exchanges and takes it out and becomes the main antagonist. The thing is that would actually be properly set up. I wouldn't be mad at that. How crazy is that when you actually properly set up a twist like that? Amazing. What'll happen to Hikari's domain rules if Hajime also activates his domain? Perhaps that will completely eliminate his ability to get a stat boost, because from what we've seen, domain struggles seem to just completely annex the sure hit can't miss technique. They don't seem to... they seem to just hold everything off and allow the fight to re-begin again, especially if they're equal playing. But if your domain overwhelms the other domain, then you overwhelm and your sure hit attack lands. So that all depends on if Hajime's domain expansion is more refined than Hikari's is, which, being a 400-year-old sorcerer, it just may be. Plab, yo, I'm here from work. I'm gonna just be listening. You the man, brother. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate that. We have 122 people watching, which is absolutely insane. I wouldn't have expected this. I've been expecting that right when they need to... I just had an aneurysm trying to read that. Do you guys think Nobara will come back? Yes. If she doesn't come back, I'm gonna cry. I have a thumbnail made for the chapter that Nobara comes back. I already have it made. I actually got confused regarding that panel. I assumed that Hikari's unlimited cursed energy was already flowing within him when he beat Charos. Why is he only orgasming now? That is a little weird, but I imagine the way that it works. Cowardly Savage 2, thanks for subscribing. I would imagine why that happens. It's probably more narrative than it is real. Because it's probably just meant to show the cursed energy flowing through him. There may also be an after... Forgive me for using this phrase. There may also be an aftertaste or an afterblow. So, like, the orgasm may not hit him immediately. He may be jumped up, and then he hits the peak. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know if any of you guys have done drugs before, but that's probably the best kind of explanation I can give you in a video game. My thing is, with infinite cursed energy, how do you think a domain battle will go? And that's actually really interesting, but I guess that really depends on if Hikari hits another jackpot before Hajime lays out his domain. Because you figure Hajime's still trying to figure out Hikari's technique. He has no idea what he's walking into. Volted, what time zone are you in? Eastern time zone, don't come and kill me. Do you think that a sure kill domain expansion can overpower a sure hit or vice versa? I think a sure kill domain is the same thing as a sure hit domain, but it really depends on the curse technique, because a can't miss technique from... I think all domain expansions are supposed to be supposed to be insta kills, because the can't miss technique is meant to represent the insta kill. The only domains that aren't insta-kill that we've seen are Higuruma's and Hikari's. His probability of hitting a jackpot just goes up the more he hits one. Faster spins, 2, fever. Yep, exactly. Cortez Santana, all domains are sure hit in some way, only the technique will make it sure kill. Exact. That's what I was trying to say. You think that Sukuna's binding vow is actually the first set of terms that he said, because when Yuji accepts the duel, if he loses, it goes by Sukuna's terms. I don't know how to answer that. Since Hikari and Higuruma domain are different types of domains, Leonardo Maxil, thanks for subscribing. Since Hikari and Higuruma domain are different types of domains where the opponent must abide to the rules inside, do you think other people would be able to cast their own domain inside? Yeah, 100%. I think you'd be able to have a domain struggle with Higuruma or Hikari. I think it works. If anything, it's probably a big disadvantage of their techniques, because someone that has a sure hit technique... Well, once again, I think it comes down to cursed energy and how refined your domain is. And I think the definition of refined isn't so much cursed energy output. I think the definition of refined is when we consider what Megami considers refined. Because if you look at Megami's domain, he has trouble making his domain refined. He has trouble making his domain actually present and have a full visual effect on the world around him. That's why he has struggled making the barrier around it. So when it says refined, it's basically saying it's a struggle of the internal wills of the two sorcerers, if you really think about it. How strong is each of their will, and which will is stronger? That's why Gojo was easily able to defeat Jogo, and why Megami, despite having a less refined domain, was still able to at least open a small hole in Dagon. All Megami did was able to end Dagon's sure hit. He wasn't able to actually struggle with it. So Kashimo is stronger, but Hikari is on crackhead energy. That may be the case. Do you think Yuji's Divergent Fist is cursed energy with a special property or an innate technique at this point? I think it's a cursed energy with a special property. I definitely think it goes hand in hand with his with Hikari's and Hajime's cursed technique, cursed energy properties. From a narrative standpoint, what do you think the outcome of the battle will be? I 100% think it will end in a tie. I don't think either of these characters are going to be leaving us after this fight. I just don't see it happening. All right. So after Hikari gets his orgasm, what ends up happening is Hajime is like, all right, dope, let's go in for the kill here. But all of a sudden, Hikari just gives up because he's just entranced, right? And he goes, don't you disappoint me. Hajime's very confused. And then Hikari just swings back and knocks this motherfucker right the fuck out. And why I want to switch to this panel here, which it's a double spread, so it might fuck everything up here, but I'm just one man. Don't get mad at me. Look at that. So, like, once Hajime fucking is confused and takes a second to pause, Hikari immediately strikes back. Like, I imagine it's kind of like he stops. And there's like comes in and swings his fist and knocks him the fuck out. But look at this. What you want to pay attention to here. These panels right here. Like, I imagine this like Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, dude. My guy's like, he points at Hajime. He goes, all right, I just punched the shit out of you. Bing! And he fucking flies forward. Like, and then he's gone. You know what I mean? Like, when this is animated, they better go all the fuck out. And they better add the music. They better make this the coolest fucking thing I've seen on the year. In fucking 2024 when we finally get the Culling games animated, right? I don't think Divergent Fist is the same thing, because Gojo explained it as Yuji's body being too fast for his cursed energy. Yes, but Gojo said that it actually is an advantage for him, where Todo said it was a bad habit. Now, what we know is Yuji learned to manipulate his cursed energy properly, but then relearned Divergent Fist as a secondary attack. So now not only can he manipulate his cursed energy correctly, he's able to use Divergent Fist as a willful attack on his own, and that shows true mastery of his cursed energy, which is why I think it's somewhat similar to the cursed energy property. How does this end in a tie, though? I don't see either one backing down. It must be some outside force that stops the fight. I think that that might be what it is. There may be some reason why they have to stop fighting. Something may come up. If you think the fight will end with Hajime and Hikari becoming buddies, I don't know if Hajime will become an ally because of reasons that I won't explain. I'll save for my theory video on the trio of them later. Yuji should probably learn Simple Domain. Yes, but it's not that easy to learn Simple Domain. You have to... There's certain restrictions that go with Simple Domain. You have to be taught by someone. It has to be handed down. It's not the easiest thing to learn Simple Domain. Double A, thanks for subscribing. Or should I say A2, Code Geass fans. And said he would refine his cursed energy properly and be more like Hajime. No, Yuji needs a curse technique. His physical abilities have reached to their maximum. He can't get any stronger physically. What more do you want this man to do? He's already a dangerous threat to anyone close quarters. I think he really presents anyone with a full threat, no matter who it is. I think he could even throw hands with, probably not Gojo, but he could throw hands. Hopefully Toto reaches Simple Domain. Hell, it took him about 30 minutes to teach Black Flash to him. Yeah, Toto could potentially hand Simple Domain down because Toto learned it handed down from Yuki. Although I'm hoping for some more Heian era lore crumbs, me as well, 100%. We need more of that. I think the fight will end in both of them not being able to keep the fight up, but none will die. Completely off topic, what do you think is that weird spinal thing in Megami's domain? I was thinking it's a combination of all of his Shikigami. What I think it is, it's probably something along those lines, but it's probably the physical manifestation of his domain. Like when we see Mahito call his domain out and they have all the hands behind him, it's the manifestation of his domain. Jogo, the manifestation was his lava and his... I think that may just be... it may be a combination of a Shikigami, or maybe a Shikigami we haven't seen yet. Do you think Panda can get his brother and sister form back in the form of a Shikigami like Yuta did with Rika? Maybe. That's a cool idea. I don't think they're coming back actually, though. I think he's screwed on that one. Who do you want to see next after this fight? It's a good question. I feel like there's a lot to focus on. There's so many colonies, right? But we've only really seen 3 of them. But we know there's like 6 other colonies going on. Weird, right? And we do have a lot of other characters that we have not seen. I don't remember what happened to the inverted Spear of Heaven, but if it's still around and Maki got her hands on it, how do you think she'd scale against the top fighters in the Culling games right now? I'm pretty sure Gojo destroyed the inverted Spear of Heaven, right? I have to check Shonen Jump now. I'm pretty sure he destroyed Inverted Spear of Heaven. What is that? Chapter 146? Chapter 145? Satoru Gojo sealed the Inverted Spear of Heaven overseas 11 years ago, ... or destroyed it. Alright, you can't see that. That's fucking terrible on the webcam, but trust me, that's what the fucking panel says. I honestly don't think we're even at the halfway point of the Culling games. I don't either. There's way too much going on. We're really in the beginning phases of it. There's just a lot going on that Gege has to cover before he can even move the story along. The participation time hasn't even ended yet. There's still like 7 days left. The weird spine thing is from the Japanese mythology of chimeras and the gigantic walking skeleton that's heavily connected to Ten Shadows mythology. Well, there you go right there, A2. Now imagine if Yuji gets the idea of how to do the lightning energy thanks to fighting Kashimo in the future. I do think that could be an awesome evolution for him. It's funny you say that. I think all sorcerers can do things like that with... you know what? Let me stop. We'll wait. You guys are going to get that soon. Don't worry. How are cursed weapons made? By imbuing a weapon with a curse? I have no idea. Don't you think it'd be cool if we got like a cursed weapon? We got that already. I was going to say, don't you think it'd be cool if we got a cursed weapons maker? And we got that in Jozo, and he... Coat rack guy. Kenjaku on 4D chess right now. Remember that Chinese UN meeting? Yo, I have another theory coming out soon about that as well, because I 100%... there's something going on here, and I think it has a lot to do with Mei Mei. I think a lot of that is connected. There's some politics going on, and I like politics. Hopefully we'll get Angel and Megami after this fight. I think Angel may actually be Sumiki's vessel. Or the other way around, vice versa is what I meant to say. Possibly. Or maybe Angel saves him. I don't know. Yo, out of topic is that Dark Riku's theme. This is Zigbar's theme. I have the music right up here. My guy. Is Hajime using his technique so far, or is he just using his cursed energy? I think his technique is the electricity manipulation. Do you think his combatants diminish the colonies will consolidate into each other and you'll have top tiers finishing each other off? It seems like that something like that may actually occur because it just like Reggie said in the beginning of the Culling game arc. He said it's weird that a lot of these colonies are ending up in deadlocks, right? We've seen that in Sendai, we've seen that in Tokyo colonies, we've seen that once the stronger characters start eliminating the weaker characters, everything gets quiet because no one wants to give up their location, no one wants to lose their own points or give up their advantage that they themselves have gained. We see that in Sendai Colony as well, where literally none of them are attacking or moving. Kurorushi was literally lying dormant until someone made a move. If Yuta never showed up, the innocent people in that colony would have been absolutely killed until there was no one left but the sorcerers. I love how people's cursed energy are getting special properties. Megami with his shadow manipulation and literal teleportation through shadow. Hikari's cursed energy and Hajime's electrical cursed energy is so cool. I agree, Burger Cook. I think it's a really cool upgrade to the power system that we're getting later into the series. I think it's a really cool addition to it, and it makes sense. It's something that isn't really too crazy. I've heard, like, I'm not a One Piece fan, but I heard the introduction of Haki and stuff like that was a little bit weird into the power system, and kind of is weird when you consider things that fights and everything that were before Haki. But I think this fits very well. I think this is very easily explainable as to why we haven't seen it previously, even though technically we have. Hikari versus Yuta, what do you think? That's why I made that community post. I genuinely, it depends on how the fight goes. It's purely a situational win for either of them, because if Hikari gets enough jackpots, he's essentially immortal, right? We need to see more. A bracket tournament arc once the strong survives. Could you fucking imagine? I think that would be weird. I don't know if I'd be down with that, but that would be wild. Does anyone else get the impression that there's just sorcerers around everywhere now? I love it. Yeah, it makes sense because a lot of sorcerers, a lot of people would have their awakening just by the Culling games being announced and Kenjaku having that talk with them in the beginning. And curse users are coming out now because they have free reign now. We're getting what seems to be the closest thing to the Heian era that we've seen. Oh no, I can't see who subscribed because this is... Oh no. Well, Goodson, I love you. I'm sorry I couldn't see your first name. Let me get this double spread off. Let's move on. I think the back and forth here between Hikari and Kashimo is actually really, really cool. I think they're hand-to-hand. Gege is great at choreography. We know that already. That's nothing new. But right here is actually great. Like, I can literally picture this in my mind happening, like, where, like, Hikari is blitzing Hajime, just attacking him and rushing around the area, which we can tell by these speed lines here that they're zipping around as Hikari is throwing these hits. And Hajime just catches one of his hits, not bad, huh? And they fucking do the thing that they always do in anime that, like, no one on the West does whatsoever. They're like, ha! and then Hajime grabs it and tries to spin it around, and then in the next panel, Hikari just fucking moves his chin over his elbow and smashes him. Gege is great at choreographing these fights. Like, you can't make this shit up. Hikari, in fact, did up the ante. Hikari is like Gojo without the Limitless technique. It's funny that you would say that, because I'm actually... isn't it interesting that the three people that Gojo said would surpass him all kind of represent different aspects of Gojo. Weird. Someone should do a theory video on that. Yuta versus Kashimo, what do you think? I honestly think that would be a really good fight, but I think Yuta has the abilities to win that. Sendai Colony has completely reworked my brain when it comes to Yuta Okkotsu. I don't necessarily like the announcement that he is second to only Gojo. I think that kind of overqualifies him in my opinion, but I think he relatively is pretty much stronger than most characters, let's be real here. A Sukuna past arc would be awesome. Answers how he met Urame, turned into his freak form. I don't think we would get a past arc, but I think we may get a chapter or two solidifying his past and how he came to be. JJK is way too fast-paced to stay too long on a flashback like that. Do I have any guesses on the purpose of the culling game? Absolutely not. I have no idea, dude. The culling game is a fucking clusterfuck of shit that doesn't make fucking sense. The rules completely contradict each other. It's an absolute fucking vaulted. Thank you so much for the $5. I fucking appreciate that hardcore, or £5. I still fucking appreciate that hard fucking core. Because I'm pretty sure right now you guys are more. I'm pretty sure right now you guys are more expensive than we are, so I'll take it. Thank you. What the fuck was I talking about? I don't remember. Oh, Kenjaku's a fucking weirdo, man. I don't know what he's planning, but he's got some fuck shit going on. He's got some agenda going on. Hold on. I'm doing it again. I'm completely derailing the stream to make a joke. Somebody fucking stop me. Kenjaku and his agenda. I'm gonna have are very fucking sus, in my fucking opinion. Kenjaku is Orochimaru and Aizen if both weren't self-destructive to their own plans. Yeah, true. Kenjaku is basically Gege with the way he made that. True. This is... Okay, hold on. Alright, I'm making the joke, guys. Don't worry. I'm sorry for derailing the stream again. I don't care. Hold on. So, this is literally Kenjaku right now. Hold on. I'm the fucking worst. Oh my god. This is fucking Kenjaku right now.
We are a secret club because of our
agenda.
It is a dark agenda. It is an agenda some other clubs may not agree with. Hey, I want to try it.
That is Kenjaku right now with the culling game. That's the best I can explain that. He's got some secret agenda going on behind this fucking bullshit that's on the front scenes, okay? Where were we? What's that one meme? I'm not gonna go look for it again, but Kenjaku, my goals are beyond your understanding. It's like that that episode of SpongeBob with Patrick. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. Sukuna on his cover, he has a spear and a knife-looking weapon. Do you think we'll see those curse tools? I feel like there's no way Gege would put those in to not include them. Sukuna's original form is scary looking. And I may be just drawing conclusions out of nowhere, but Doesn't that spear kind of look like, or the Vajra? I think that's what it actually was. It's a Vajra. The correct terminology for what that was. It's not similar to Kashimo's rod that he carries around, the Thunder Rod, but he definitely, there was a theory, right, where he stores his weapons and his curse techniques inside of the tattoos on his body. Does anyone know the theory that I'm talking about? There's also the cooking theory as well, that a lot of people have. They kind of intertwine together, where Sukuna basically, we all know that Sukuna is a cannibal. He eats people. That was actually revealed in the data book. That's why he is friends with Arame, because she's his chef. So the cooking theory basically is that he cooks people up, he eats them, and he actually steals their power, steals their curse technique. And he stores them on tattoos in his body. So that's why when he opened the flame technique, or the flame manipulation, he said open, and then there was the black box. He has multiple black boxes tattooed on his body. So that's a small theory. It could be potentially anything. It could just be a black box for just misdirection and vagueness. But that's a cool theory. There's a lot of cool theories about Sukuna. Sukuna is just Gordon Ramsay, Burger Cook, sus, alright? The Burger Cook telling us that Sukuna is just Gordon Ramsay here. You know more than we do, bud. Stop lying to us and tell us what you know. I saw people say that when Reggie said Kenjaku will drop a bomb, it maybe wasn't a metaphor, and that's why Kenjaku's meeting with China. I think it was just a metaphor. I don't think my man is literally dropping a nuke. That'd be kind of redundant, because why would he save all of the strong people, and then if he was planning on nuking everyone, he could just nuke everyone without having to have everyone slaughtered first. He doesn't need to, like, eliminate more people just nuking and just taking people out. Oh my god. I'm tired. Excuse me, I'm sorry if you heard me drink that. It's very rude of me. Do you think we're gonna see more characters use curse technique reversal? It seems like a waste of a really interesting concept if it's only Gojo. I think it is only a concept that Gojo can use, right? Because it's all as it is. It's not really a reversal of... Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's more or less just Gojo using the positive and negative versions of Limitless. He's using the negative version, which is his blue, and then reversing that is the red. I think that's only capable in Limitless. Maybe I'm wrong. That would be a cool thing to add, though. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it and talking about it. Is Sumiki a reincarnated sorcerer? She may be a vessel for somebody at this point. That's been left purposely vague. Japan already been nuked twice, guys. Come on. Fair. Come on. Yeah, Kenjaku, leave him alone, dude. I really want Kashimo to become an ally. I love staff users, and add that with electricity. He's legit one of the coolest characters we've seen so far. Fuck Kashimo. That man took out Panda. I won't forgive him. He's a fucking piece of shit. Hikari has infinite cursed energy. Does that mean he can overpower anyone's domain expansion, as he has more cursed energy than any of his opponents? We kind of talked about that earlier. I don't think it has to do with cursed energy. It probably does, but I think it more has to do with how refined and how, like, how just selfish and just what level of sorcerer you're at, I think, is a better indication of that. Yuji already is one of the most dangerous sorcerers to fight hand-to-hand. Does reverse curse technique of Inumaki mean he can talk normal? Yo, I made that whole Inumaki curse speech video, And then someone commented that reverse curse technique makes curse speech fucking OP. And I was like, how did I not think of that? How did I literally do all of this research and think of every possible way that fucking curse speech could be used in an advantageous way? I didn't think of using reverse curse technique. Like, that literally makes it crazy. Who or what do you think we will see after this fight? Dude, it's a wild card. This entire arc is a wild card. I really don't know what's gonna come next. Oh, we've already seen Yuta. I personally think Kenjaku is gonna start making moves on Tengen, and we're gonna see Yuki and Shoso versus Tengen. But every time I bring that up, people tell me that that can't happen too soon into the arc. I think it can, because I think it creates more tension, but I see what people are saying as to where that should be left until later in the arc after the culling game has at least reached the point where people can't declare participation anymore. There's still 7 days to participate. So, like, Maki hasn't participated yet. Who knows which... She's still going around killing Zenin Clan members. Love that a black YouTuber is covering my favorite shonen series. Where Rosa Parks in this shit for sure. Does Hikari even have a curse technique at all? It seems like he can only use domain expansion and that's it. Like I said before, I think his curse technique and domain expansion are kind of tied together like Higuruma's are. Like Higuruma's curse technique is his domain expansion. It all works coincide together. Booty Hathaway, how did you come up with the name no operator? Dead ass, just sitting on the couch with my girlfriend, sitting around talking shit, and I literally was just like, no operator. I'm gonna go with that. I was almost employee from the void. That would have been weird, right? That would have been a very weird name. What could have been, right? I've used it. I stuck with it. There's no reason to change it. I'm probably not going to change it. It's just what I am now. When I start making other channels, I might shorten it to Noop, just because that's a little bit more easily rememberable, and not as much of a mouthful. But Void employees, I thought it was because you work in customer service. Dead ass. That was you picked up on the point that I was making, though. I was very into like workers' rights and labor force shit back when I was I was in that political state of mind when I was making that the name. So yeah, that's just where it came from. Because I wanted to do political content as well, not just anime. I still do. I want to do gaming content. I really want to expand, but the Jujutsu Kaisen run has been very beneficial for me. And I figure I'd just build my community around this. I love you guys. I love having you guys. You guys are really cool. I like talking with you guys. Yeah, so, and I figure eventually towards the point, like, if I start talking about other stuff, you guys will be cool with it, right? I mean, like, I really want to start talking about Record of Ragnarok one day. I feel like fight analysis on Record of Ragnarok would be absolutely dope, right? Those are crazy fights. If you haven't read that manga, go read that manga right now. I'm a Creepypasta fan, employee from the Void, kinda rocks. I might name a second channel that, honestly. I think I've been thinking about maybe saving that for my gaming channel name, if I ever do that. And when I say gaming channel, I would do, like, what I do for game videos. I would do, like, analysis and, like, video essays on games. I wouldn't, like, just play video games. I would stream for that. But, yeah. I used to work at a place called The Void and was actually an employee. That's crazy. That's actually hysterical. Hey man, love your videos on JJK. Thanks for helping me understand the curse technique. LOL, keep up the great work. Thank you for watching. You are the shit. The people that watch me, you guys are the cool ones, not me. I just sit around. I'm the fucking nerd that talks about anime all day, and literally can tell you what chapter, what happened in what aspect of Jujutsu Kaisen and everything. You guys are the fucking champions out here watching me. Am I the only one who looked up if Pure Love Train was an actual song? Yo, I swear to God, I literally wanted to. I literally thought there might have been a song, but someone did a booty tell me that there wasn't actually a song. It's depressing. Void operator, no employee, no. I'm game for any content. That's the shit we like. It would be really cool if you started covering other things. I plan to. It's just I'm so backed up on Jujutsu Kaisen content. I want to be able to cover most fights. Like, hold on. Let me catch up on chat before I go off on this. We love you as a content creator. Do whatever you want. I love you, Envy. Imagine Inumaki on his wedding day trying to say his vows. Inumaki is cursed to permanent virginity. I'm sorry. He can never intimately communicate with another woman. It's sad, but it's true. If you were Gege writing JJK, would you have the pacing be the same? Do you think the pacing is too fast? I quite honestly think the pacing is perfect. That's one thing that I really enjoy about Jujutsu Kaisen is I feel like it's shonen for people like me that grew up with like Naruto, Bleach, and Dragon Ball Z, where like flashbacks would take fucking 3 episodes to go through and things would be paced so fucking slow. And like now it's just hype action. We get to where we need to, but at the same time we cover all of the necessary story beats. Like, it's not like Gege misses anything or brushes over things too quickly. He covers everything that he needs to. Made me think of Love Train from JoJo's Part 7. Anyone else? Yes, I love JoJo's. I haven't read Part 7, but I've essentially spoiled myself for almost every single part except 8. So I know everything that happens. I just haven't actually read it. Cowardly Savage Inumaki says nut. Oh, were you the one that commented that? Someone commented that on my Inumaki video and I was cracking up. But anyway, I caught up on chat. So get to what I was saying. I would love to cover other content, but I work 40 hours and I also sleep. And that's not me being like, oh, I have other things to do, guys. Everyone works, everyone does shit. That's not me. But the thing is, I don't have a lot of time to make content, so I try to make Jujutsu Kaisen content because that's what's most popular for my channel, and I want to get at least a solid grasp on Jujutsu Kaisen before I move on, so that way all those videos are long term. They'll live on, they'll go on. Like if I make more fight analysis or if I make more theory videos, as long as they stay relevant, I'll keep getting views on that. I can keep my Jujutsu Kaisen content and keep the community live because I'll always have content for them and more other people to look in on, and then I can move on to other stuff. Like, for example, to give you an idea of just what I still have to do, I have planned to do Megami vs. Todo Then and Now. I have to do a whole analysis on the exchanged event. I want to do a whole video on Toji's fights in the Hidden Inventory arc. I want to do Gojo vs. Disaster Curses. I want to do Dagon's fight against everybody. I want to do Sukuna's rampage in Shibuya. Perfect preparation as an analysis video. I want to do Megami vs. Reggie. I'm very late on that. I'm doing Yuta in Sendai soon. I have a lot of fight analysis that I have to fucking finish. I want to do at least most of the fights that have happened so far. Hell's Paradise, JJK, and Chainsaw Man equals Unholy Shonen Trilogy. Have not read Hell's Paradise, have not read Chainsaw Man. I'm waiting for the anime adaptation for both of them. As long as season 1 is hype, I will read the rest of the manga and most likely make content for at least Chainsaw Man. I know Hell's Paradise is ended and there's not probably much of an audience for that. But I watch anime first and then read the manga just because I have friends that I also watch the anime with, that I talk with, so I like to get invested in the story and have everything visualized for me, and then read the manga once I have everything in my head of how to visualize and imagine everything that are happening. Yo, my man, Plab, $15 would be super down for you expanding your content. Also very worried for Yuji because if his next fight is against a Hay and Age Sorcerer, it's going to be yikes. Thank you so much for the $15, brother. I appreciate that you're watching at work and you still found the time to give me some money. That's amazing. You didn't have to do that, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, it's just... Yuji is kind of screwed, in my opinion. I think he needs a curse technique or he might get screwed. Favorite fight in Jujutsu Kaisen, Yuji versus Mahito, the second round, without a doubt. The fake weeb, really hope you succeed and YouTube can be your full-time job. Thanks, brother. You fucking too, man. I fucking, dude, I think it's so cool for you because, like, you are at such a good age where, like, you'll be, by the time you are, like, 18 and you graduate, like, you'll be making money. You'll be like, dude, if you ever want to take a look, go on socialblade.com and just type your name in and see what your future projections are. In like a year, brother, you're gonna be huge. Like, both you and me are going places. At least I don't want to sound cocky when I say that. I'm just very confident. Yeah, but the fake weeb, you kill it and you're gonna be huge. Virgil Hawkins, is Kirara a guy? Kirara is, I'm pretty sure, trans. Trans man. So, cool. What's your favorite series? Well, first of all, let me answer this. Cedric Gordon, y'all need to do a collab video. Me and the Fake Weeb have done a collab video. We did a What If Yuta vs Toji video, which I think came out really well. The Fake Weeb did a really good job covering Yuta, and I enjoyed covering Toji. I know a lot of people were upset with the result that I came up with, but I've completely changed my opinion on it now, so don't hurt me now. I think Yuta does beat Toji now, but it's still a good video to watch. It's still a nice analysis, and I think I think I did a really good job editing that. So watch it if you want to. I'm trying to send you $5, but YouTube keeps saying cannot update card. Don't. That's the universe telling you that you shouldn't do it. Please. I appreciate it though. That the thought is what counts. Quite honestly, just the fact that you're here watching it is more than enough for me. I thought Kirara was a male turned female, not female turned male. That's what I meant to say, Camden Moore. I'm sorry. I was completely confused. I have 4 different questions that I'm trying to get to answering in my head. Yes, Kirara is a nice femme. I think Chainsaw Men and no clue she used to avoid. Hey, I've been loving your videos, mate. Zhao, thank you for watching. I love you for watching. Answering the question before about what's my favorite anime or manga. My favorite anime and manga, top 1. I'm very conflicted. I still haven't decided yet. If you follow me on Twitter, which you should, the @ name is literally right there. Go follow me on Twitter right now. If you're not following me on Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. I need more love over there, and I need you guys to just see my thoughts, man. I tweet more on there now. Twitter is very harmful for my mental, but that's a whole nother story. My favorite anime and manga, it's a tie between Code Geass and Attack on Titan, if you want me to be real. Have you watched / read Hunter x Hunter? If you have, what you feeling on it returning? I haven't watched or read Hunter x Hunter. I'm slacking on that. I've been holding off because I want to do content on it. So I don't want to watch it yet because I want to do content on it. Naruto is top 2, no debate. Naruto is definitely, and probably my top 10. Whether that's because of nostalgia or it's because of actual quality, that's actually to be determined. I can't tell you that. Dog, I love you and your content, but you ain't convincing me to get Twitter. It's a cesspool. Facts. You don't worry about it. If you don't have Twitter, don't get it. You don't want to be there. How do you think the general direction of Tsumiki and Megami storyline will go? Do you think Megami could be able to separate incarnated sorcerers from their vessels, so that's how Tsumiki returns? That might be interesting to see the case. Nah, bro, here's another 5. You for real are goated, bro. Thank God I found your channel. You've made it so much easier to just get through the weeks. I appreciate that, brother. I'm so glad that I'm able to at least give you some kind of joy throughout your day. That's literally all I want to do, making content, is just making content that people can enjoy. And if you're having a bad day and you see me upload and you're like, ah, shit. Because I know how that feels, man. I have creators that do the same thing, and like I know how that feels, and I want to be able to bring some joy in the world, man. The world is so fucking shitty sometimes, so if I can at least bring some kind of happiness to people, that's all I want. Cedric Gordon, thank you so much supporting my people. Shout out you, Fake Weave, Zoning, and Enemy Stand user. Who's your favorite character from the second half of the story? Favorite character from the second half of the story, Shibuya to now, is 100% Higuruma, without a doubt. I don't even have to think about it. Higuruma is the man. He's probably one of my favorite people in the world. I'm turning this guy Drick the Grafted song off right now because this is not the mood. Thank you for the $4.99. You said supporting my people, but you included Zoning, and I don't know if Zoning is considered black, but if we gave him his card, then I'm cool with it. I support it. Code Geass, great taste, bro. If you haven't seen Code Geass, that is one of the best anime in the world, without a doubt. I can watch that anytime. I can start that from the first episode, watch it all the way through. I've done that at least 5 times now. The only reason why I wouldn't say why it's hard for me to say that Attack on Titan is better, even though it hits all of the same kind of emotions and aspects for me, is that I can't do that with Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan takes a little bit more mental effort to sit through, in my opinion. Reading actually is fine. I've actually really enjoyed my read through of Attack on Titan, at least the beginning seasons, a lot more than I enjoyed the anime, but that's just me. No, I'm just saying y'all make good content. The first part was for you. I figured. I just thought it was a funny joke to make. Thank you for the donation anyway. I seriously appreciate it. What role will Angel play in the Culling game? She's a wild card right now. I actually like Eli the Vibes chat. Do you think Angel could be part of the Gojo family based off of her design and the different colored pictures and her broken technique? It seems possible. Maybe it's a technique that we don't know the Gojo family has, extinguishing curse technique. The Fake Weeb, thoughts on Suzaku? Fuck Suzaku. Literally, fuck Suzaku. That motherfucker pisses me off every watch through. I can't stand him. Even when he I'm not gonna spoil it, but even towards the end of the series, I don't think he gets redeemed. Oh, and you and Broken Ronin are my personal top 2 JJK tubers. Broken Ronin's another great anime YouTuber. He does great content as well. Definitely go check him out. I also enjoy Broken Ronin's content. I like him. If you like both of us, good to know. Gojo versus Gojo. The actual Toji versus Gojo. Yeah, all my homies hate Suzaku. That's a fact. Also, do you think Angel could maybe create curse techniques instead of just extinguishing them using reverse curse technique? That goes back into the curse technique reversal thing. If people can actually reverse their curse techniques for the opposite effect. Interesting. You guys definitely need to make a group chat or something and do some more collabs. All you need to know is that me and Broken Ronin are indeed in contacts. That's all you need to know. let's move on with this chapter review because we got really off topic here. And this music is depressing. All right. So moving on with this chapter review here, so we can finish this up because this has been going for actually a pretty long while now. After the back and forth a little bit, Kashimo is able to completely... What's the word I'm looking for? Kashimo's able to completely accumulate enough of his cursed energy, separate the positive charges from the negative charges, and fire off a lightning bolt at Hikari. Which Hajime thinks, alright, this is my chance now. I can actually go ahead and strike. But the crazy thing is that because of this infinite cursed energy boost that Hikari does get, the arm immediately grows back. And once again, I said it a little bit earlier, but there was probably a lot of newer people in here. It's interesting that the only other person we've seen with this level of reverse curse technique is Sukuna, be able to actually, in a human body, regenerate actual limbs in no time at all. Pretty interesting, right? Maybe there's other instances and I'm just not remembering it. Definitely correct me if that's the case. I guess Yuta did, Chase, bro, your channel makes my day. I'm so grateful that I was able to get into JJK and find this channel. I'm still low-key salty about that one time you joked saying you were going into just Attack on Titan on April Fools. I had a much better April Fool's joke that would have made a lot more people mad, but I'm going to save that for next year. Don't worry. Thank you so much for the $10, brother. I fucking appreciate you. I wish I could play a slot with an infinite jackpot. Hey, I feel like a lot of people do. Do you think Gojo has his own personal technique that he used to twist stuff, or is that just overwhelming cursed energy against inferior coat rack man? I think that has a lot to do with his cursed technique reversal, his blue or his red. He probably used space to twist and contort coat rack guy. Can any technique have a domain expansion? Most likely, it depends on the sorcerer completely. So if the sorcerer is unable to reach the level of domain expansion, it seems like that's kind of like a birthright. It doesn't seem like it's something that you would really be able to gain, right? Depending on your curse technique. So I would imagine it's kind of one of those things where it's nature over nurture. Like, are you born with the ability to use domain expansion and you just progress to that point? Or is domain expansion anyone can really reach that point? You just have to train enough. Because Nanami is a pretty strong sorcerer in my opinion, but he can't use domain expansion. Do you think Kenjaku is strong enough for Choso and Yuki? Where do you think Yuki is tier 2 in special grades and Satoru is the strongest, but is she equal to Yuta or Geto? I think Kenjaku versus Yuki and Choso would actually be a very decent fight. Choso definitely doesn't stand on the level of Yuki, but Yuki, in my opinion, she's the original special grade. She was one of the first people to be deemed special grade. Mighty Mallards, thanks for subscribing. She has to be a certain level of strong. The only way to get deemed special grade is to at least be an anomaly in Jujutsu Society and be able to take on the Jujutsu hierarchy by yourself is really what is required of being deemed special grade. That's why Gojo was deemed special grade at birth. Geto was deemed special grade because of his cursed manipulations, ability to permanently grow and create an army. That's why Yaga was almost deemed a special grade when they figured out that he could possibly build an army with cursed dolls. Even though they may not ever actually do that or ever reach that heightened potential. I mean, Yaga was able to be beaten by Gaku Kanji, even though he probably wanted to be removed at that point. It seems like Yaga was doing this, from what we've seen with the siblings being killed. It seems like this might have all been done to actually help Panda grow. But yeah, I think Yuki and Choso and Kenjaku will be a good fight. Isn't Gojo a major clan? How come there's no other Gojos yet? Gojo is a major clan, but there's only one user of the 6 Eyes and Limitless that's possible at one time. So he holds both of those curse techniques, and no other Gojo member can basically have a curse technique from what it seems like. Those are the only curse techniques that can be born out of the Gojo clan. Madeline Grecu just subscribed. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I feel like Yuta's second to Gojo's statement cucks Yuki's tearing sadly, which is why I don't fucking like it. Phoenix with some flair. That's why I actually don't appreciate that statement. It's just such an absolute statement. It really screws up power in a series where power scaling isn't done by strength. Power scaling isn't done by how powerful you are. Power scaling is done by your ability to outsmart and outmaneuver people. You can have a lower grade curse technique but still be able to outsmart a high level curse technique user if you have the skill and strategy to do so. That's what sorcerer battles are. That's why Megami was able to beat Reggie, because he was able to bluff that his divine dog was already taken out when it wasn't. I thought only the 6 eyes was the one at a time. No restriction on the number of limitless users. Pretty sure it's both. Takaba back in the story will be hype. He is an absolute crackhead. Am I stupid? Who's Takaba? Oh, the comedian dude? I knew that's who you were talking about. I just look pretty stupid. Dude, his curse technique is broken. He's gonna be the reason that Gojo gets unsealed. I'm calling it. He's gonna make a dumbass joke like, wouldn't it be funny if Gojo got unsealed? They're gonna recruit him, and he's gonna say some dumb shit like that, and that's gonna get Gojo unsealed. You heard it right here. You heard it right here on my stream. If that shit happens, I want you to tell everyone you know that no operator told you that this shit would happen. Obey Anime, thanks for subscribing. Hopefully Gege isn't some Yuta fanboy derailing the story for that guy. I don't think he is. I think Gege has a strong grasp on his characters, especially with how he handles Gojo. He fucking hates Gojo. Gojo is one of the most overpowered people in the series and has some of the best feats, and this man can't stand him. So it proves, something like that proves to me that he has a good grasp on his characters, because despite his personal feelings on his characters, he still knows what is reasonable to happen in the story and what isn't. Also, I think that has a lot to do with the translation. Even though it happened in both translations, I don't think it's an yeah, I just don't like that absolute statement, but it is what it is. That Yuta statement ruined a lot of battle conversations and came in like a cancer. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. I don't like absolute statements like that being made. It's one thing for Gojo and Sukuna, because we already know they represent this high level of power. It's one thing to have that large gap between all of them. Have Sukuna and Gojo be the top of the top, the honored ones, and everyone else is in their own level of scaling, right? But now when you have Sukuna, Gojo, Yuta, and then everyone scaling, that fucks things up. Because now, who's to say that Yuta isn't just one step above everybody, and is just really only stronger but can still be beaten by other people, right? And there's still that huge gap in between everyone else. Or is Yuta literally one step below Gojo and Sukuna, and there's just that whole gap in between him and everybody else? It begs the question almost, like, what does it mean for you to be second? There's so many things that could mean. He gave Yuta 200 points in excitement by accident, so I'm not sure. I don't think that was because he wanted. Because I don't think that's because he was simping for Yuta. I think that was because he fucked up his numbers in his head. I think it's because he had a plot point for after Sendai for Yuta to be at 200 points, and then after writing and going through the arc, he realized that he didn't set up the correct numbers to add up to 200. Oh my goodness, we've been doing this for so long, guys. All right, let's keep going. Let's move to the next panel here. Benjamin Herrera, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate you. All right, so after Hikari's arm regenerates, we get the panel that basically explains that his reverse curse technique happens basically automatically. His body, well, the way that I had described it previously was that basically there's so much cursed energy running through Hikari at one point in time that it doesn't know where to go, right? So once his arm gets blown off here, it immediately regenerates because the cursed energy just instinctually needs to fill the gap in where the arm started. So that's why he immediately is regenerated, which is why he's essentially immortal. The word essentially is important here because if he's completely eviscerated, that's a different story. I don't think he's coming back from that. It's the same thing of, like, let's say, for example, if you were to be hit by Hollow Purple, which literally erases matter, if you were to be hit by that in the head of your brain, you can't regenerate from that no matter how strong your reverse curse technique is, simply because how are you going to regenerate? I might be wrong. That damn smile. Where's that fucking meme where it's like the woman smoking the cigarette? This is where it all started. That damn smile. Hikari versus Toji, who do you think would win? I think Hikari would win that one. Hikari has proven himself able to handle close quarters, no problem. And his serrated cursed energy would give him the advantage against Toji because much like Hajime, his hits can be blocked, but that doesn't mean that the offensive capabilities go away. So that means that even if Hajime blocks, because Hikari's pretty fast, I think they'd be able to keep up and he'd be able to hold Toji in his domain long enough for him to get the stat boost and win. He can always say that Ryu did some collateral damage and had extra points. I think he kept it as 200. I think he just fucked it up. It's fine. I really don't care. I still understand the plot point that he was trying to make. Shoko said there was a connection between the brain and cursed energy. Exactly. Which is why Yuji was able to be stabbed in the heart, killed, and brought back twice. Twice. But if the brain stem is taken out, it's a different story. Theory, Sukuna has multiple curse techniques but can only use one at a time because when Sukuna was beating Jogo, he said open and suddenly had flames. I have a whole theory coming out about this. I think I'm not even going to tell you. Just wait for the content. I'm telling you, it's going to be good content. I think I'm right when I talk about this theory. When it comes to the fire manipulation of Sukuna, and when you also think about Kashimo's electricity, right? Just think about those two things. Also think about who else has another skill like that? That's all I'll leave you out on. That video is going to come out in a couple days. I'm going to work on it over the weekend. I'm going to probably record it a little bit after I do this. The Ice Girl. Someone's on the right track here. Anyway, when we get in the water skill user, who knows? Adirame's. People are picking up what I'm putting down. I love it. You guys are going to enjoy the video I'm coming out with because you guys are already seeing where I'm going with this. Isn't it weird that Yuji has died twice and not had any sort of reawakening? I disagree. I think Yuji has had Zenkai boosts. I just think they're not immediate. I think his emotional development haven't been tied to his deaths. Except when he's about to lose to Mahito. Like when I did that Yuji vs Choso explanation, his death was necessary, or his supposed death after losing to Choso was necessary for him to grow, but that wasn't because he needed the emotional upheaval, the emotional awakening of him dying. Tendo Tensei, thanks for the subscription. Wasn't what made him grow. It was losing to Mahito and losing Nobara and Nanami and Todo reinvigorating him that he needs to carry on despite these deaths. Yuji only died against Choso, or not died, but was nearly killed because it was a roadblock. He wasn't ready to beat Choso. If he had beat Choso, Shibuya would have been a lost cause. Sukuna needed to come out. Sukuna needed to ingest 10 more fingers so Yuji could acquire more power so that he could even stand up to Mahito. And Shibuya needed to be destroyed, one, to set up the rest of the culling game, and two, so Yuji could get the emotional development that he still has yet to get for killing all of those people and moving past that. Yuji is actually Druve. That's funny. Have you heard the theory of Yuji being from the Ainu or Ainu clan? If this is true, do you think their clan is something similar to Heavenly Restriction and this is why it's so naturally strong? I'll be honest, I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to explain that a little bit more. Yuta one-shotted a special grade curse twice, beat the brakes off Ryu and Takako, who are definitely grade 1s. He ain't weak. Yuta is strong as fuck. Well, Hikari does reveal his technique and domain, which makes it more effective. True. How long do you think it will be before the last 5 Sukuna fingers will be revealed? Probably sometime this arc, because I'm sure they'll come into play where either Kenjaku will have them and be offering them to Yuji. They're gonna play an important part, because once Yuji gets all 20 fingers, that's gonna mean something. That's gonna be very important. Whether Yuji gets them fed to him against his will or he knowingly ingests them. I still don't understand Yuji's brother effect on Choso and Todo. There is no brother effect. Todo's a fucking weirdo, and Choso genuinely has a real connection to Yuji brother-wise because he's also a child of Kenjaku. So they're not similar. They seem similar. I know there's a theory out there of Yuji's like brother relationship or whatever, but it really doesn't matter. It's just convenient. Todo's just a fucking weirdo. Cursed jar technique would be cool, like sealing items and spirits in jars and other stuff like that motherfucker from Mob Psycho. Like the guy from Mob Psycho. I'm trying to pull up his picture right now. Why are you doing this to me? There we go. Like this guy? This guy was like very underutilized in Mob Psycho, but had like the coolest fucking technique. And whatchamacallit. And I swear to God, this is so similar to Geto's ability. Geto's ability is so cool. Like, curse manipulation, being able to, like, own curses and use them in battles is such a universal technique that can be used in so many different shows. I'm surprised it's not. Yeah, Mob Psycho Shikigami user, exactly. Didn't Dimples beat his ass? That's what I mean. So underutilized, but could have been such a cool idea. That's also probably just Mob Psycho too, because a lot of things are underutilized. I love Mob Psycho. Let me stress that. I don't mean underutilized in that aspect. That's not the point of the series. The point of the series isn't to flesh out all of these techniques and make the battles intense and crazy. The point of the series still gets across. So I don't mean underutilized in a bad way when I say that. I think he is talking about the Ainu and Hokkaido theory, since they have been brought up in the manga before. Volume 0 and when they meet up with Tengen, Hokkaido might be important. I'm completely drawing a blank on that, and as a Jujutsu Kaisen YouTuber, I'm sorry. I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about. I genuinely don't know. Should I look this up? Is Hokkaido not included because of the Jujutsu Society's barrier? Correct. It has already been established as a vast sacred area. Okay, it's the portion of Japan that is already considered a vast sacred area, and it doesn't have to be converted through the culling game. Interesting. Ah, okay, and then in Jujutsu Kaisen 0, call the alumni and the 3 clans, also request the help from the Ainu Jujutsu Company. Ah, interesting. We do know that the guy from Hidden Inventory, the Korean dude, that was sent to negotiate between the Time Cult and Toji, Gege did say that he's going to come back into the story. So perhaps that is something. You guys make a very good point, and I'm glad you guys taught me about that. I'm going to put that in my back pocket. I'm going to write that down in my video ideas. I'm going to have to do some more research on that. Okay. Whoa, a little big, a little big, a little big. All right, let me catch up on chat, guys. I'm very backed up here. I had to catch myself up on that Ainu division shit. I have a question about Megami. Back in the day, the 2 strongest sorcerers were a Limitless and 6 Eyes user and a 10 Shadows user, but isn't Curse Manipulation kind of better than 10 Shadows? I agree, Curse Manipulation is better than 10 Shadows. However, the Shikigami that are attached to 10 Shadows are specific to the 10 Shadows technique, so things like Maharaga and stuff like that may not be able to be manipulated by Curse Manipulation, even though I think Curse Manipulation is better. That's why Curse Manipulation is special grade tier, while 10 Shadows technique is not. I definitely think Tengen... Oh my goodness gracious. Do you see how that happened? Throwing shit. Hold on. Don't worry. This didn't happen. We're good, guys. Don't worry. That was a dream. The wire for the fucking camera is underneath my desk, and I just kicked the shit out of it. Alright. Fix that. We had the perfect fucking angle, too, dude. God damn it. Oh, well. It is what it is. You guys are going to have to deal with it. I feel like Todo may actually be influenced by some kind of curse technique, while Choso is the red herring thanks to his blood manipulation, giving him a bond to all of his siblings. Maybe. I don't know. I think Todo is just weird. I love Todo. I just think he's funny. He's just, his besto friendo is his brother. I call my friends brother. Yeah. Sukuna's body markings and tattoos look very similar to the body tattoos found on the members of the Ainu tribe. Junior Syriac, thanks for the $4.99. Theory Megami will end up fighting someone in the main cast because he will have to choose between saving Sumiki or releasing Gojo. I also think, if you go back to my Ferocity of Fushiguro Megami video, I also think Megami is going to be put through some kind of challenge towards the end of the series where he's going to have to make a choice, and he actually may end up siding with Sukuna and getting Sukuna to be revived if it means helping Sumiki. I actually think the way that we've seen Megami switch up and we've seen his motives completely shift, and this has all been set up, by the way, where Megami's constant philosophy of he selfishly saves people and he selfishly saves the people that mean the most to him are going to play an important factor in that. You have to imagine that now Megami is reweighing his priorities. His love for his friends means nothing compared to his love for his sister. And if that means teaming up with Sukuna or possibly putting the world through more hell in order to save his sister, he might make that decision. Do you think Sukuna's forearm monster form may be the result of being cursed by an enemy in a fight, similar to Yuta cursing Rika? No, I think Sukuna's forearm form is literally just, he has evolved. Like, he has literally ascended from being a human. That's why he's not human anymore. He is so strong and delved himself so deep into Jujutsu that he's literally not even a human being anymore. Alright, I know some of you guys are in chat asking about the Ainu clan still. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. I literally just Googled it. Because we're done with this chapter review. We're at the end. Thank you for stopping by. This is your first time. It's better not be your last. Hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. I normally have that literally ingrained in my head when I record. Like, I have that paragraph, like, I fire it off. But not today. I'm under too much pressure. You guys make me nervous. Okay, this is what the fuck I'm talking about. This might be pixelated to all hell. I hope it's not. But I just pulled this from Google. The dude who gave Toji the job to kill Riko was Korean. Shut up. I'm like 90% sure that's what Gege said in the data book, right? I might be just making that up. That might have completely come from a fever dream or something, but I'm pretty sure he was said to be Korean. Domestic girlfriend was trash. Miss me with that. No, not miss me with that where like domestic girlfriend was good. I'm saying miss me with that entire discussion. We don't speak. The horny levels of my anime and manga conception are at an absolute 0. So if any of you expect me to relate to you on any kind of horny content at all, you will be sorely disappointed. Thank you for confirming that I didn't just dream that he was Korean. Having that whole part of the world involved in the setting is cool. Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's really cool that like Gege is there's all these ideas that Gege is using and they're just sitting in the background waiting to be pulled out, right? He's literally just waiting for it to happen. You don't think that maybe Todo is another son of Kenjaku, just like Yuji maybe was also made to be a possible Sukuna vessel? That's pulling it. I feel like now we're getting into Tokyo Revengers level of everything has to connect in the past, and I'm not a big fan of that. Oh, Jesus. Guys, we've been streaming for like 2 hours now. This was pretty insane. Is there anything even else to talk about? We covered all of the chapter. I guess if you guys just want to ask me questions, what time is it? 3:02? I'll hang out for another couple minutes. if you guys want to ask me any questions, or we can just go over anything in general, now's the chance. Now is your time to talk to me. Let me see if I can change this song up, get a good song on here. I want to see some Chinese sorcerers since Kenjaku is in China right now. Look out for my Mei Mei video. Who do you think will get the next volume cover? Who got the last one? Hikari, right? Oh, Higuruma got the most recent cover, right? Maybe Reggie or Megami, probably. Maybe Domain Megami, Feral Megami, or Reggie might be the volume cover, probably. What do you think makes a great manga? That's a loaded question. What I think makes a great manga is just a mangaka being able to literally get their entire point across. That's too hard of a question, man. I can't answer that right off the spot like that. Basically, any series that is able to properly execute its themes and has great character development and just anything that's a character story, I love. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I'm heavily enjoying Tamagotchi Game right now. That's going on in the season right now. I started watching Made in Abyss. That got really good in the last couple episodes of the last season, and the movie was an amazing movie. I think that movie was better than Volume 0 in my opinion, and if you disagree with me, it's because you haven't seen Made in Abyss. Is Kenjaku only as strong as his host, or does he have his own cursed energy? Pretty sure he has his own agenda going on back there. He definitely has more power than who he involves with. I think he might take actually the power of each person he inherits. Okay, operator, have you noticed that Kenjaku has had head stitches and Tengen has 4 eyes, but Kenjaku's prison realm has eyes and Tengen's prison realm has stitches? That's some shit right there. Okay, that's a nice catch. Bradley, love the content, man. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. What do you think makes a great manga? I already failed at answering that. Most underrated JJK character in terms of power? Kamo Noritoshi, probably. This is the first person that comes to my head, or maybe Ino Takako. Those are both two characters. Mostly probably Kamo Noritoshi, because it's mainly just a simple. We saw him in the exchange event. He seemed like a really cool player, and then we haven't seen anything of him since. So hopefully hopefully the Kyoto students get more love culling game. How do you feel about Tengen in general? I think it's mad sus he lied about Angel being in the other colony. I think that's really weird. I know he said he didn't specifically say that he knew where it was, but he did say Tokyo Colony 2, and now she's in 1. Whether that's because Yuta's already made a rule that they can transport between colonies, I don't think so, because we didn't get an announcement, right? Do you think we'll see more techniques like the 6 eyes that physically alter the sorcerer? Yes, I think we're gonna see Gege pop off a lot with some of these new sorcerer cursed techniques and cursed energy. I think he's really going to evolve the power system as we see the series come to a close. Do you think Yuji will awaken a curse technique? I fucking hope so, or he's fucked. How did Kenjaku persuade Kashimo and other old sorcerers to join the culling game? There's definitely a reason. There's definitely some kind of benefit to the culling game. I mean, a lot of sorcerers just wanted to be reborn, right? Have the chance to be reborn. What we've seen in Sendai is all of the sorcerers were died unsatisfied with their first life and wanted a chance to live a second one. And now their only chance of living a second one is surviving the culling games. So next fight after Hikari versus Hajime, I really don't know. We've really exhausted all of where I expected the culling game to go, besides Yuki and Choso versus Kenjaku, or we see check up with Maki. We may go to a completely different colony and check up on some other characters like Kyoto students or some shit. Could Kenjaku and Tengen be related since they both have immortality techniques and are from the Heian era? I definitely feel like they've met before and they know about each other. He also knows that Kenjaku has tried to do this before, so definitely think it's they know each other. The Game Master might be someone that's hard for our protagonist to fight. Could be someone they care for. Yeah, we still don't know who the Game Master is. So that's actually something that's very interesting, right? He convinced them by saying healthcare will be better in the future than fucking medieval science. Facts. That's actually hysterical. I'd join the culling game for that if you told me you give me free healthcare in about 100 years. Favorite culling game fight so far? I really think Yuta and Sendai was such a great compilation. Jake Giacomini just subscribed. Thank you so much. Even though I loved Yuji vs Higuruma and I loved Reggie vs Megami, Yuta's display in the culling game was fucking awesome, right? How close to ending do you think JJK is? Oh man, we're still pretty far off. I think the culling games is gonna take us out into the final stretch of the story, because we've only really seen the beginning of the culling games, right? What do you think about the art being so downgraded since Shibuya? What the fuck are you talking about? Thoughts on Hikari's domain expansion and current abilities? Love it. Absolutely love it. Amazing. Great shit. What would be the full potential of Curse Doll technique, like with domain expansion and reverse curse technique? That's actually very awesome to think about. The evolution of Novara's curse technique has a lot of potential. We've really only seen the bare bones aspects of it. Some kind of voodoo or some kind of puppetry domain will be fucking intense. I actually can't wait to see that. Nobara with the eye patch coming in. Do you think Yuji will get a replacement for Nanami as a mentor? I feel like that's probably not. I mean, I feel like Todo and Hikari are just gonna really help him out. Same with Choso. I feel like Yuji doesn't really need a mentor anymore. He's now capable of standing on his own 2 feet. Thoughts on Yuji's scars? Do you like them or think they take away from his character design? I think the fact that Gege is willing to permanently scar his characters takes a lot of fucking guts, and I think it's really ballsy, and I honestly really like it, especially on a character like Maki, a woman in shonen who generally a lot of people thought was, you know, attractive and like made a lot of fan art of. The fact that he permanently scarred her and completely just what he did is very respectful. So, and the fact that he's gonna do it with Nobara too, she's gonna have an eye patch probably. Hey, what up, the capital G? What's going on, man? Favorite JJK fight? Yuji versus Mahito, always. What do you think Yuki's curse technique is, considering her family name means 99 and Yuki means snow? Honestly, Yuki's a wild card. I would have thought Yuki's technique would have been what Angel's technique was. The power to extinguish curse techniques, especially with her display at the end of Shibuya when she completely just stops Arame's ice attacks. She has to be somewhat powerful, and her curse technique has to be somewhat overwhelming. I really don't know what it is. She also has a Shikigami. I like to think it's a captured curse spirit, but I've been told that that's probably not what it is. So, do you think Toji will come back? Third time's the charm, right? He's come. He's already come back. He's already made 2 appearances. Why not make it 3? Fuck it. Which fight in Shibuya do you think will be the best in terms of animation when Season 2 happens? For me, I say Toji versus Gojo or Sukuna versus Gojo. Yuji versus Choso is going to pop off. I also think Yuji versus Mahito, the final part when it's Yuji and Toji versus Mahito after Mahito busts them out into the open, that's going to go hard, bro. Season 2 is just going to be full of crazy farts. I hope not. I hope it's full of crazy fights. That would probably be a lot better. What are you drinking? Everclear. 120 proof alcohol. I love how Gege is fearless when it comes to progressing plot and harming their characters. Facts. You plan on making more what if fights? There will be one. There will be one coming soon. I like reserving the what if content for collabs because I think I can check my power scaling and I can check myself when I'm comparing it with another person's opinions. So, there is a what if coming soon. It's the collab that I have scheduled. I'm not going to tell you who it's with, and I'm not going to tell you who the what if fight is. Just know you'll like it. Top 5 strongest JJK characters. I would not be able to answer that on the spot. Because if I did, I'd probably completely change what I said 5 minutes after saying it, and people would get mad at me. Calling it that part 1 of JJK ends with the cast defeating the higher-ups and Tengen, but Kenjaku manages to optimize curse energy like he intended, removing the conservatives who are stopping their goals. Could you imagine if Jujutsu Kaisen ends and he's like, alright, JJK part 2, like Chainsaw Man? I don't think so. I don't think that would happen. Alright, guys. It has been an amazing stream. I love you. Thank you guys for coming out. It was fucking awesome. I had an awesome time. I had a lot of fun. We discussed a lot of crazy shit. And we went over the chapter that I didn't end up reviewing because I didn't want to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning and edit something. This was a lot fucking easier. Is Toji with cursed weapons versus Jogo who's stronger? I think Jogo does beat Toji. Probably, in my opinion. I don't know. That's tough to say. Volted, amazing stream. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. I really appreciate every single one of you guys showing up. This was really fun. I had a lot of good times. I'll probably do this more often now that I know I can pull at least over 100 fucking people. I think there were 200 people watching at a certain point. So I had a really great time. I thought this was really cool. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do and everything you do to support the channel. I appreciate it. After this, go watch a fucking video on my channel that you haven't before. I don't care what it is. Just go fucking watch it, man. If you haven't seen my What If Geto 1, go watch that. That's one of my favorite videos. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I love you guys. I loved your stream. Thank you. Appreciate that. I thank you guys so much for watching. What am I doing today? Fucking nothing, dude. It's my day off. It's a long weekend. I'm relaxing, maxing, chilling all cool. What will I do today? Probably watch some YouTube. I personally, I watch a lot of debate content. So like that's probably what I'll end up doing. So on my way out, I would like to give a couple shout outs to people as well, because because if you guys want a proper chapter review for this week, let me see here. Let me do some shout outs to some of the homies here. Before I leave. If you like Jujutsu Kaisen content, go subscribe to Enemy Stand User. Makes great content, chapter reviews, all that kind of good stuff. If you like manga content, go subscribe to Guti Sensei. That's GUTI-Sensei. That's my guy. We just linked up. I may do a collab with him pretty soon. He makes good content as well. Check out the Fake Weeb. He makes awesome content. He's absolutely amazing. One of the inspirations for me to start making anime and manga content. Broken Ronin, another great manga and anime YouTuber. He does a great job of everything that he does. So I appreciate that. He is another cool YouTuber to check out. Trigger Reviews. That's my homie. Trigger Reviews makes great content. Definitely check him out. I've got more. I think I'll do one more and then I'll call it. I'll do two more. Check out Mike Yubi. Mike Yubi, he makes great content. He just came out with a really cool video, The Fascinating Story of the Girl from the Other Side. Check out Hixtrah, I think that's the way that you pronounce it. Hixtrah. He makes awesome Bleach content. I don't know. I'm just shouting out people that I love. So thank you guys. I hope you guys all have an amazing weekend. Expect the theory video on Sukuna, Kashimo, and Urame. I will be probably working on that this weekend. I'm going to take my time with it. I'm not going to rush. That'll probably be out sometime this week, so take a look out for that. It's gonna be a new cool thumbnail style. I've been working with this cool artist, Baku no Colors. That's another shout out I can make. Check him out on Twitter and on Instagram. That's Baku no Colors. I'm gonna be working with him. He made the very cool overlay for the chat with Sukuna and the fire, and he's gonna really help me out in the next couple thumbnails for color panels. Watching the stream instead of studying for my exam, I feel that, homie. Good luck on your exam, though. You'll kill it. Phoenix with some flair. Love these streams. Talking with everyone as a highlight to these chapters. Hell yeah, 100%. This was awesome. This was a lot of fun getting together for these chapter reviews. I may do this more often if I ever feel like not fucking staying up late and doing a regular chapter review. What do you think would happen if Mido used Idol Transfiguration on another curse? I don't know if it would work or not. But that's a topic for another day. Alright, guys. I am going to end the stream. Thank you guys once again for all coming out. I had an awesome time. I hope you guys did too. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit me with the like button on this stream if you enjoyed it, so that way you get recommended more of my content in your recommended page. And everyone here, just a heads up, watching my videos from the subscription feed really helps the channel. If you remember to do that, do it. Alright, guys. I love you guys so much. Good stream. Thank you guys so much. I've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours, but I enjoyed every single bit of it, guys. I gotta record this video later today, so you guys have even more content to have. Have a good weekend, guys.